Hello there, guys. I think I found something extra special for you today. Look at this puzzle. It's pretty cool. White to move and win this. Our pawn is here, only one step away from promotion, but of course it's hanging at the moment. We have one piece up. We have an extra knight, but that still doesn't mean it's an easy win for us. In fact, I think it's pretty hard. And I don't think you can solve this from just looking at your thumbnail. Probably you're going to need a board on the side or some analyze function. But what do I know? You can pause your video now, see how you can manage to find the victory for white here, and come back later and we go through all these variations together. Go ahead. All right, here we go. So, what are we doing? Well, we want to catch this bishop or get this pawn into promotion, of course. Uh, Two pieces will win even against one pawn, but as long as black has this bishop here, we're not going to win it. So, we need to take that. Okay, how do we do it? Well, let's start just looking at some basic random move. Knight g4 and threatening to put it on f6 and capture this, trap this bishop in, but it's not good enough. Black can simply take here first, attacking the bishop, and the bishop has to move first. If we put it here, well, then black can simply play g5 and the bishop will escape. If we put the bishop here instead, well, then he can go to g8 and then it will escape from there. So this is not quick enough. We need to do something better than to play the knight to e3. The key here is to move our bishop and put it in the right place, because when we move, black is forced to take our pawn, obviously. So if we just do a random move like bishop c6, it's going to take it. And now next move, black will either go with the bishop here to g8 or push g5, and he will escape in one of these two diagonals. And with the bishop still on the board, there's no way we're going to win. So our starting move cannot be bishop c6. In fact, we have to stop either to put it here to stop this diagonal or to put it here to stop this diagonal. One of these two are right. Can you find which one? Here we go. We have to play the bishop to e4. That is the right starting move. Let's look at what happens if we put it on d5. Yes, it will take here. And now we cannot really stop g5 in the next move. So that's not going to do us any good. Okay, bishop e4. It blocks this diagonal. We take away the option for black to play g5, but before he can start worrying about the bishop, of course he has to take our pawn, otherwise we will promote it next move. How do we continue from here? How do we stop this bishop? Well, we cannot stop it from going to g8, but we can still capture it. And we do it through this brilliant move, knight d5. Now we are threatening knight to f6, which will trap the bishop, and he has to do something about it. Of course, he cannot push the pawn, he will lose the bishop right away, and he cannot move the king. It's just not quick enough. So black is forced to play bishop g8. Now, let's keep on attacking. What is the right move here? Now it's when it starts really getting tricky. I will tell you the right move. The knight has to go to e7 and to attack here. We cannot put the knight on f6 to attack, because from there it has no other options. It's a lot better place to put it on e7, because from here we can also attack the king through a check here or maybe here. Okay, the bishop is hanging now. Black has to move it. Where can he go? Let's start with just what happens if he goes back. Simple as that. Now this is pretty clever, but we have a very clever solution to this also. Look at this. White here will play king b5. Now the bishop cannot move, it will be taken. He cannot move the pawn, it will be taken. He has to move the king, and he only has one square to go to, and that's b8. And then simply we will push our king to b6, really block the king. See, now we cannot go anywhere. Everything is blocked, so he has to move either the pawn or the bishop, and whatever he moves, we will take the bishop, and from there we are winning. Okay, let's go back to what happens after knight e7. So the bishop has to move within this diagonal, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4 different squares to put it on, which will not lose it right away. And we're going to look at all 4 of them. Starting with bishop f7 or bishop e6. It's the same variation, so let's bring them both into one. Maybe you see now what's happening. I told you about it. Look at this check. Check the king. If he goes to a8 or b7, we're going to have a discovered check, and we can play knight d8 with a discovered check from the bishop, and then from there we're going to take the bishop. So the king has to go to a6. And remember, this is the same thing either if the bishop is here or here. From here, I think you see it. Bishop d3 check. And now the king doesn't have many options. In fact, he only has one option to run to, or put the bishop in between, which is clearly losing right away. King has to go to b7, and then we follow up with a fork towards the king and towards the bishop. Even if it's here or here, it doesn't matter. Knight d8 check will win the bishop. Okay, so now we see he cannot put the bishop here or here. What happens if he goes to b3? Well, actually, it's the same thing. The knight comes to c6 check. Again, he cannot go anywhere here and allow this, yes, I'm going to show it, allow this discovered check like this, and then we're going to take the bishop. So it's the same variation. He has to go to a6. Again, we will give a check on d3 with our bishop. Again, the king is forced to b7, and here's the fork. Then we put the knight on a5 instead, check, and the bishop is lost. All right, only one square left really for black. Yeah. Last try, goes all the way down to a2 with his bishop to just try to keep and save it. Well, you've seen it before. Knight c6 check. The discovered check is still there with knight b4. King has to go to a6. But now there's no point on giving a check here because the king will escape and we cannot catch the bishop. But we don't have to make things harder than they are, because we of course have the fork right away. Just playing knight b4 here, check, and we will take the bishop no matter where he goes. a5 or a7 doesn't matter. We just take the bishop, we will get this pawn, and then we will continue with this favorite endgame for many people, a knight and a bishop against this single king. We just love it, don't we? It's hard, I know, but it is a win in the end if we play it right. All right, everybody, thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. If I missed any variation, please make a comment of that, and I will look through that also. Have a great day. Bye-bye.